So we're out in the shop again, and this time of year it's actually almost winter time, and you can hear it's raining out, so I can't really control that. So you hear all that pounding in the background. That's just our tin roof on the shop. But we're working on the 71 Olds Cutlass S project, our project S71. Just kind of getting it ready for the Media Blaster. Some of the things you want to do, like we did, we disassembled the whole car and it's down to its bare shell. But there's a little pre-prep before it goes to the Media Blaster. We like to scrape, you can see here, we're scraping out some of the original seam sealer and stuff, because this stuff is kind of plasticky and rubbery, and if you go to a Media Blaster, a lot of times if they use plastic media or other types of pressure blasting, that media just kind of bounces right off the stuff, and then your seams don't get cleaned up. And that's really why, you know, one of the places you want to have cleaned out real well is in all the welded seams. So we're beginning to do some of the steel work and metal work on this car. In fact, our buddy Randy just the other day started to work on the fenders, and he did some fender patches. One of the challenges on this car, because it is so original, every single part on this car is original, and it's never been racked and it's never been taken apart before. So what we wanted to do was keep as much original steel on the car as possible. And the way we decided to do that is to patch the fenders. Now you can get reproduction fenders for these cars, but again, we know that we had a good set that fit and looked nice, except for that bottom patch. So we got some patch material from YearOne. They sell pre-made patches. And Randy went ahead and measured the bottom of the fender, first of all, and then he measured the patch material and decided how much of the original fender he wanted to cut out. And one of the tricks here is he reused the outer edges of the patch area on the original fender so that the original contours were still left intact. And this also made sure that the length was right, because even if you measure, you know, you could put a patch on and it ended up being a ½ inch lower and then the fender doesn't fit right. So he carefully cut a section out of the fender with a cutoff wheel. And the next process was to just go ahead and trim the new fender patch to match the size of the hole. And he used a cutoff wheel, you know, a cutoff tool, some 3M cutting wheels, and just some DA sanders and things like that to shape the patch panel. One thing you got to address if you're going to do this repair is that a lot of times the inner brace rusted as well, and you don't want that. So what we did is we have a small Media Blaster here, like a little bucket blaster, and we kind of sandblasted that area and then sprayed some primer on there. Then we remade that inner fender brace with some, I think, 18 gauge steel. It's pretty thick stuff. And drilled the proper holes and made the right contours so that we could remove the old rusty brace and then replace it with a new piece. Then Randy made about a 3/4 inch wide strip that he tack welded inside the fender to use as a guide, and then use that to support the new fender patch before welding. The next part was just to weld the new patch into the original fender, and this is done by MIG welding small tacks one at a time in different areas so that the panel doesn't warp. And once it's done, you finish welding up the whole area and then grind off your welds, and next thing you know, you've got a pretty much undetectable repair. And the final step is going to be to use some seam sealer over the inside where the weld was done so that it doesn't catch water and rust. And what we intend to do is when we have the rest of the car media blasted, we'll have the rest of that inside fender bracket blasted as well. So the fenders still have a little body work left to do. I mean, obviously we haven't done any filler work or anything else. They still have paint on them, but we're going to get to all that. It's got the factory contours around the perimeter and it looks pretty much like new.